Do you know what is the most important thing to build credibility and respect in any relationship? It's vulnerability. And this is one quality which is misunderstood a lot by all of us because we consider vulnerability a weakness. Hello, my name is Pooja Nitin Purwal. I'm a career growth coach and an IT professional. So today we would be diving deep into how vulnerability helps you become a better leader, a better manager. Let's dive in and see how vulnerability can help you become the best leader that you can be. So often, as we all know, showing vulnerability is considered like showing a weakness, which can be exploited by other people, or you would be considered as a weak person. However, that's not true. I mean, recollect any relationship that you have today with anybody for that matter. If you're close to them in any capacity, there have always been time when you have shown that you are vulnerable, that you need them, that there is something that they can add to you, and then there is something that you can add to their lives as well. So it's very important that we show vulnerability in a relationship. If we are not able to display vulnerability in a relationship, it's impossible to grow close to anybody. Because at the end of it, we are all human beings and we actually thrive into any relationship only when we feel close to them. And closeness can only comes in when you feel strong emotions. And how do you have strong emotions without being vulnerable to the other person and without them being vulnerable to you? So vulnerability is actually about being open, being honest, and being human. Vulnerability in leadership is about acknowledging that leaders are humans as well, and they have their own strengths and imperfections. So, openly embracing your flaws, the challenges that you face in your day to day world, and your emotions rather than pretending to be unrealistic or just show an image of perfection or just come out as somebody who is non-feeling or somebody who is so strong that nothing can touch them and that's what makes them unapproachable as well doesn't really work out. So when leaders shows their vulnerability, when they are open, when they are honest, it actually helps to build trust within the team by admitting that they don't have all the answers and may need help every once in a while. Leaders actually create a safe space for others to do the same. So, this is what encourage the team members also to come and say that, okay, this is something I don't know, or this is where I lack, or this is what are my area of improvement. So, this is how we create that culture of open communication along with having a safe environment wherein people can be themselves. Vulnerability actually also means being present and being emotionally available to people, even when it is uncomfortable for your own self. So, leaders who are open about the risk, the responsibility that they face, and the toll that it take on them can inspire teams to bring their full, genuine selves to work. This type of leadership can lead to more success, more resilience, more engaged, and loyal teams. You know, Harvard's Jeff Polzer notes that vulnerability is something that gets the static out of the way in the team dynamics, and it actually allows for a smoother collaboration by removing the barriers such as fear and hesitation. This is the openness that enables the team to share their own challenges and mistakes, which strengthens bonds and foster an atmosphere of mutual support. Even Brené Brown's work further emphasizes that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but it is a pathway to trust and performance. Her research reveals that leaders who show vulnerability inspire teams to take creative risk and engage more fully, knowing that their unique perspective and potential mistakes are valued. This level of openness builds foundation for trust, which is essential for team cohesion and innovation. So, to summarize, vulnerability in leadership is a proactive choice that encourages transparency, it invites collaboration, and builds resilient teams grounded in trust. And it is essential for fostering psychological safety, a key component for high performing teams. Let us see in details what are the key advantages of being vulnerable when you are in a leadership position. First, build trust and strengthen connections. So leaders who show vulnerability fosters an environment of psychological safety, as we have seen before also, where team members feel comfortable. That's where they open up, they share their ideas, concerns, mistakes. This openness strengthens the trust, encourage honest communication, which is essential for effective collaborations. Vulnerability also shows that leaders are human. People are able to relate to them. And when they help team members, the team members actually feel more connected to them on a personal level, which promotes loyalty and reduces the turnover in the organization. Number two, it promotes innovation and creativity. So when leaders model vulnerability by taking risk and trying new approaches, they set an example. So this is where the walk the talk comes into picture. So if your leader is showing that it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to come up with ideas that may or may not work in the future, the team members also feel encouraged. And because of this encouragement, they can actually come up with creative ideas. They can go into the innovative thinking, critical thinking, and come up with some out of the box solutions. If they do not feel the psychological safety to come up with these ideas, then the organization actually lose on the potential of the employee as well. So that's why the mindset shift which comes with their leaders showing the vulnerability and the okayness for failure actually motivates employees to become more innovative, more creative. Bene Brown's research, as we discussed some time back also in the same video, actually says that when we create a culture that celebrates learning from mistakes, people do engage fully without the fear of being ridiculed or judged. Number three, encourages team empowerment and ownership. Vulnerable leaders are open and honest, and they are not shy from saying that, okay, I don't have answer to these questions, or I don't know this, or this is not something that I have foreseen. So this opens up the opportunities for others also to step in with their expertise. So this is where, even though the person who is leading doesn't have answers, but it gives an opportunity for the entire team to step in and fill in that gap. So this approach not only empowers the team members, but when somebody suggests something, they actually also take ownership of that particular task, which helps them build confidence and accountability within the team. Also, when a leader encourages the team contributions and value the diverse perspective that comes from their own team, they actually build a very inclusive environment where everyone feels they have ability to make meaningful impacts. Number four, enhances emotional intelligence and resilience. So, vulnerable leadership helps leaders develop emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence or emotional quotient is something that actually helps you build on relationship. Vulnerable leaders are actually high on emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, because emotional intelligence actually requires you to have a lot of self-awareness and empathy towards people. So leaders who acknowledges their challenges, models resilience, showing their team that it's possible to handle setbacks with grace and adaptability. This type of resilience, when your leadership shows it, it actually helps you become more emotionally stable as well. So the team member learns to approach challenges collaboratively and with a growth mindset. So failures just become another milestone towards success. They are not the setbacks that holds you back and doesn't let you move forward. Number five, showing vulnerability in leadership actually helps you to increase engagement and morale. So, vulnerable leaders foster a culture of authenticity where team members feel valued for who they are and what they bring to the table. So, this authenticity boosts morale and engagement, as people are more likely to feel passionate about their work when they are in an environment that supports their unique contributions. Studies have shown that employees feel more engaged and productive when they are psychologically safe and valued. This also leads to improved overall team performance and job satisfaction. Number six, it strengthens accountability and integrity. So, when leaders are transparent about their mistakes or areas where improvement is required, they set an example for accountability. This approach helps to create a culture where integrity is valued and team members are encouraged to take responsibility for their action. Vulnerable leaders are often very humble as well. So the humility that they showcase actually reinforces the idea that everybody in the team is accountable, regardless of the position that they hold or the designation that they have. This also contributes to the mutual respect and trust within the team. So, in summary, vulnerable leadership is a powerful tool for creating a more open, resilient, and innovative work environment. By embracing their imperfection and being open about challenges, leaders build teams which are stronger, where trust, creativity, and personal growth are prioritized. This is your shortcut key for really creating high performing teams as well. Now, let me just show you some ways in which you can incorporate vulnerability in your day to day interactions. First way, share about personal challenges and lessons. So, talk about past failures, leaders who can openly discuss about the mistakes that they have committed in the past or projects that didn't really go as planned, uh, and with a focus on the lessons that were learned during that time. This is the activity that shows the team members that setbacks are part of growth and that they don't need to be perfect at any given point in time. Acknowledging current uncertainties, wherein as a leader we are able to share with the team that okay, this is what is something that we are uncertain about, or we don't know how the market is going to head, or our research is inconclusive on this particular topic. So when we give such kind of updates wherein uncertainties are included, even uncertainties in decision making, it allows to see the team that the leader is human, that they are relatable, and it encouraged the team to contribute ideas. Number two, ask for help and feedback. So, as a leader, it sometimes becomes very difficult for us to ask for help because we feel we are there to solve everybody's problem. But then that's not the scenario. There are times when even the best of us need help. So, if you are at one such juncture, feel free to ask for help from team member. And believe me, if you are somebody who is adding a lot of value to other people, they would be very, very happy to come and help you back with something. Seek constructive feedback every once in a while. So, regularly asking team members for feedback on one's leadership style or decision shows openness to improve and willingness to adjust based on the inputs that you are receiving. So, it also reinforces the mutual respect. So, that's why it's important to ask 360-degree feedback from not only your managers but from your team as well. Number three, be transparent about emotions. So, expressing genuine emotions, sharing emotions such as excitement for something that went good or disappointment about something that didn't go that well, helps team member to connect with leaders on a very human level. It creates a culture where emotions are not considered as something negative or to be frowned upon. This is a culture where emotions are acknowledged rather than suppressed. So it helps people to be themselves. Even admitting to stress or fatigue, so if appropriate, you can admit that you are stressed or feeling overwhelmed, can help normalize when people have similar feelings within your team. It also promotes a supportive environment. Number four, show empathy and be present. So be mindfully present in conversations. Giving your undivided attention during discussions shows empathy, shows respect, it even shows interest. So that reinforces the message that everyone's input is valued. Also, practice active listening, especially in one on one sessions with people. You actually need to listen without distractions. Okay. Also, as a leader, it always comes with the territory that you have to be non judgmental and make sure that the team member feels very safe and are encouraged to share openly. Number five, encourage risk taking by modeling. So, try new approaches publicly. Embrace new strategies even with uncertain outcomes. So, show that it's okay to take risk. A leader's willingness to step out of their comfort zone sets an example for innovation. Celebrate attempts, not just the results. So acknowledge team members' efforts and risks taken, regardless of whatever is the outcome. This fosters an environment where everyone feels safe trying new things without fear or reprimand. Number six, admit when you don't know something. See, nobody knows everything, and there would always be time in your life when you are unaware of certain aspects of something. So, as a leader, if you don't know something, openly admitting it instead of pretending to have all the answers, demonstrate humility. It encourages team members' collaboration in finding the answers or solution to that particular problem. Another thing to do would be asking clarifying questions. So, when you show curiosity or a learning mindset, uh, it's something that the team members can emulate as well. So, they are also encouraged to ask questions and learn new things. Number seven, create a space for vulnerability in others. So use check-ins. Begin meetings with check-ins where team members can briefly share how they are feeling or what's on their mind. Are they doing well, or they are going through something which is not that pleasant? So this creates a culture of openness from the start. When leaders shows vulnerability, they set tones for others to do so, which fosters an inclusive and supportive atmosphere within the organization. So these are some practical to do stuff that you can do to build deeper connections and also encourage the team to have a culture where authenticity, trust, and continuous improvement are prioritized and valued. Now, before closing this video, let me just give you some fears and misconceptions that are there around vulnerability. So being vulnerable, especially in leadership role, is often accompanied by fears and misconceptions. Let's see what are the common ones. So the first one, fear of being considered as weak. So many people believes that showing vulnerability will make them appear weak or incapable of handling the leadership responsibilities. Wherein in reality, vulnerability actually demonstrates courage and authenticity. Research by Brené Brown, Research by Brené Brown shows that vulnerability is not a weakness, it's about strength and courage, as it requires leaders to face uncertainty and risk without guaranteed outcomes. Second is the fear of losing respect. So, some people fear that by admitting their mistakes or uncertainties or not knowing certain things can make them lose respect from their team members. Whereas in reality, studies indicate that leaders who acknowledge their mistakes often gain more respect and loyalty from their team members. Being honest about imperfection foster trust, which is essential for true respect. Number three, fear of losing that perfect image that a leader should have. So leaders worry that showing vulnerability could damage their professional image they have worked so hard to build over years. In reality, projecting a flawless image can actually feel very inauthentic because none of us are without any imperfections, right? And being inauthentic actually builds barrier between leaders and their teams. Showing vulnerability allows leaders to present a more relatable and trustworthy image. Number four, a misbelief at the leader's end that vulnerability means over disclosure. Some assume that being vulnerable means oversharing of personal and sensitive information, potentially crossing any professional boundaries or even legal boundaries at times. Whereas in reality, vulnerability in leadership is about honesty and openness in areas that impact work, not sharing every details of one's personal life. So leaders can be selective about what they share, focusing on insights that foster growth and connection without oversharing. Five, fear of increased criticism or judgment. So leaders worry that by admitting they don't have all the answers, it may lead to greater scrutiny or judgment from the others. Whereas in reality, leaders who are open about their challenges and limitations often inspire a very supportive, collaborative environment where team members feel more comfortable contributing their own ideas and solutions, reducing the pressure to appear perfect. Number six, believe that it will reduce authority. So, some leaders feel that being vulnerable will erode their authority or undermine their leadership. Whereas in reality, vulnerability strengthens authority when used wisely because it demonstrates self awareness and emotional intelligence, which are valued in effective leadership. So, by showing vulnerability, leaders model openness, encouraging team members to do the same, which can lead to stronger team dynamics. So, as we saw, these fears are very common, but they are actually based on misconceptions. Encouraging vulnerability can enhance trust, collaboration, and respect. So, ultimately, it strengthens the leader's influence and effectiveness. So, that's why vulnerability is very, very important part of being a great leader. And I would encourage you to start practicing vulnerability if you already don't by using some of the practical tips that I've already shared in the video. So go ahead, try it out, and let me know in comments how it worked out for you. If you have found this video helpful, if it has added something to your life, please do like, share, and subscribe. Remember to share it with people who it may help, and see you in the next video.